Good afternoon, everyone in unscripted land, as Mike would say. I'm on my way over to Mike's right now to record episode 200. And we actually tried to do it yesterday, but we had some technical difficulties. But yeah, really excited to do this. This 200 is a real big milestone for us. We're really excited. It also features our biggest celebrity interview certainly so far, and that's going to be Mr. Bernie Nichols. And we're just really excited to promote that and to show that interview because it was a great time. I mean, probably the most gracious celebrity I've ever encountered. You know, he was on the golf course letting people through and never told us till the end that he was just extending himself for us. We asked for 15 minutes. He gave us 40, no questions asked. And just a great guy. I've always liked Bernie Nichols. I always thought he was great. And, you know, when you're a kid, you just see certain guys and you think, oh man, I just like that guy. I just like his name. Or, you know, you're a kid. You're like, oh, I love that guy. Or I hate that guy. I just always liked Bernie Nichols. What a class act. And I hope you really enjoy the interview, or enjoyed it if you've already seen it by the time this comes out. But yeah, so merging on to Deerfoot here. So yeah, Mike and I just felt like we should have a video component to the whole unscripted experience. We thought about adding video to the actual episodes, but not going to work that in quite yet. For now, we're going to add video components, vlogs like this one. We will release the actual video portion of just the Bernie interview. We did tape that with video, so that's going to be released this week. So that's great, but yeah, I mean, you're still going to get the full audio experience with Unscripted with some video components. What is new? So it's July the 2nd today, Monday, and figured it's a good time to start taking care of myself a little better. I didn't realize I'd gotten so fat. I mean, I think I have reverse body dysmorphia. You know, some people, they think they're massive and they're not, and you know, you get them to draw a picture of themselves on the wall and they draw this person that's like 3 times the size of them. But I think I have the opposite problem. I think I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. And then I saw a video of myself, part of which will be in an opening that will be used, I believe, for these vlogs, I think is what I'm going to do, where an old friend of mine, Trent Wilson, and I were out shooting basketball the other day, and I couldn't believe what I looked like. I didn't even recognize myself. I was like, who is that? And it was me. And I thought, okay, that's enough of that. So I was in a good routine at the gym a few months ago, and then it all fell apart. I got sick for a little while, and then I changed jobs. But this new job I've got is just fantastic. I really love it. The people are amazing. The training's amazing. It's just a world-class company. NMAX, it's the power company in town here, and I'm just thrilled with them. Everything has been unbelievable, first class all the way. So now I can just work hard at that, but then leave it at work and feel good about it, and I can just focus on other things, getting back to the gym, both for cardio and weights, especially cardio, but I want to get weights in. Figure I can get everything done in 2 workouts if I push it, and yeah, so time to get back on that train. Also going to start counting calories as of today as well. Just went for sushi, which I know is surprisingly high calorie, but ramen and sushi actually, but if that takes away from what I can have later, no problem. Getting back into it, calorie counting and cardio and weights. But anyway, yeah, 200, this is going to be great. LeBron went to the Lakers yesterday. Tavares went to the Leafs yesterday. Lots of sports stuff to talk about. But July 1st is really the last major time on the calendar when big things are happening, I think, before September, other than, Mike would tell you, the opening of training camps, rather, it could be more like cramps, with the Green Bay Packers especially, for him, and that's neat. But, you know, it's nice to see training camps open, and it's nice to see preseason, but anything other than the regular season for me in the NFL isn't as big a deal. My buddy Greg and I, friend of the show, Greg Chuck, he and I like to bet on what's called pools up here in Alberta, which is where you have to bet on basically pick who's going to win every single game on your ticket, and if you get all of them right, you share the jackpot of around $250,000 for that week with everybody who also got all of the games right. So you buy a bunch of tickets and do different combinations and stuff, and we do these spreadsheets, and it's a lot of fun, and you can win big. And there's been a couple times where we should have had 6 figures on one ticket, and one game basically barely screwed us at the last second. Happened this past year, happened a few years ago. That must have been 2014 or 2015. Greg's Rams had a 21-0 lead on the Cowboys and just needed to win, and we would have made minimum $50,000, probably more like $250,000, probably the full thing. And then, of course, I think it was Austin Davis blew it, and the Rams blew it, and they lost 24-21. That sucked. And then last year, we actually won the ticket. Actually, our best win last year was sort of a loss in a way. One of the last weeks of the year, I think it was week 16, we actually won a ticket worth $4,000, so $2,000 each. But in the last game of the whole thing, the second of the, I believe it was a Monday night doubleheader, it was the Philadelphia Eagles, without Carson Wentz already by this time, against the hapless Oakland Raiders. And we had that game boxed. So what that means is you pay extra, you get to say, okay, I win that game no matter what. Now, we are convinced most people just took Philly outright, and we thought about doing the same thing as well. But I decided last second, hey, I think we should box this game, so we did. So we were going to win it no matter what. But I mean, Philly tried over and over again to give that game away, and they couldn't. Oakland was just too inept. They couldn't even kick a field goal with repeated turnovers. It was frankly pathetic. So we still had a nice win, but I mean, I think that would have really rocketed up to around, 50 or 100 grand or something if we could have got that one. Minimum, I'm sure we'd be talking 20 or 30 grand. So that kind of sucked, but yeah, what are you gonna do, I guess, right? So anyway, really excited for episode 200 and beyond here. Really growing the show. We reduced the price for free forum Friday episodes. We're bringing out new features all the time. Obviously, the YouTube channel is going to be able to have a lot more views. Really excited about the Bernie Nichols interview. He actually reached out to me, which was really, really cool. Really excited to talk about allsportsmarket.com a lot going forward. That's Bernie's site that he co-owns that, he'll describe it better than I do, but please make sure you watch the Bernie Nichols interview and see what he's talking about there. We're also going to have Zach Ward, the CEO of the company, on probably later this month, and he can talk more about it. Zach Ward is, I would say, most famously known as Farkas, the annoying little redhead kid in A Christmas Story that my brother-in-law insists on watching every single Christmas. So yeah, anyway, but so that'll be really cool. There's a female MMA fighter that I've talked to that has expressed interest in being on the show. Goes by the nickname Monster, and she is ferocious. She could kick my ass, no problem. So yeah, looking forward to having her on at some point here, and just more guests. Sean Dode, our Vancouver bureau chief, always a great interview. Ryan Hall, who we had on episode 100, and who has put some interesting new comments on the Patreon page just today. So we'll be talking about him on episode 200 as well. And yeah, just really, really excited to see how Unscripted's growing. I remember a year ago, I was in the Okanagan in BC, in Canada. That's basically probably the nicest weather of anywhere in Canada. The southern part of it by the American border is actually a desert. I think it's the only natural desert in Canada. It's known as Osoyoos, is the town there. But anyway, I was in Penticton. I was floating on the water. This was last August. And Mike and I had recorded a few just sort of hit record, talk a bit, not even doing it as formal episodes. And let's just see what happens. I hadn't even sorted it all out yet. And I was thinking, a year from now, where are we going to be? And here, I mean, we're only about 10 months since then, and we've got 200 episodes, we've got all sorts of stuff, interviews, video coming, and I just couldn't be happier. So thanks to everyone who's watching this, and thanks to everyone who has come this far with us, along for the ride, whether you've been with us since the beginning or if you're just getting into us now. We've got all sorts of other features. If you are a Patreon member of various tiers, Mike's Time Machine is a really cool thing where we take Mike's old interviews from when he had a nationally syndicated radio show in the US for, I don't know, 7 years at least. I think he'd had that. He was nationally syndicated on the Armed Forces Network, and he interviewed a who's who of everyone in the 90s, from Michael Jordan right on down. And man, his little black book, he literally has a little black book from the 90s, and a lot of those guys are dead and almost everyone's phone number has changed, but it's pretty cool. Mike had a really cool career back in the day before coming up to Canada and being some sort of land baron czar in Calgary for 20 years. So, you know, I know he's excited to be back into it. It was really cool for him, I think, to interview Bernie. I think that brought back a lot of old memories, especially in LA where Mike used to live. And Mike to this day is still a big fan of the Kings, the Lakers, and the Dodgers. So big LA ties for Mike. He had never interviewed Bernie before, but he figures he probably ran into him at some point in his old days at the Forum there in Inglewood. But yeah, so anyway, it's just, you know, we're so excited, and this is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying trying out these vlogs. I literally bought a selfie stick 5 minutes ago. I literally walked out of London Drugs with it and put it here, and started recording this vlog. And I've got it precariously propped up against the door of my car here, so we're trying this out. The inspiration for these vlogs really is Daniel Negreanu's excellent vlogs that he does at the World Series of Poker. He's doing them this year, did them last year. I watch every one. I don't know if he did it previous years before that. I don't think he did. But anyway, I love how it's done. I need to learn video editing like I've learned audio editing for Unscripted. I mean, I did some of both back in my broadcasting days when I took broadcasting at Mount Royal College, which is now Mount Royal University, which I'm just about to drive past. And yeah, I graduated in 2001 from that, but I would have done a bit of that back then, but things were really, really different. And yeah, I don't really remember a lot of it. There's so many free or cheap video editors out there, but I find what I've found so far is they're not very intuitive. They're extremely counterintuitive, actually. So I don't know what the heck is going on here. Someone's hurt or something in an accident. Holy moly. I don't know what that is. That's crazy. There's lots of people there helping though, so anyway, yeah. So I want to get better at video editing. I want to put these vlogs together. Vlogs, I don't know, whatever they're called. Vlogs. That's pretty awkward. I'm gonna go with vlogs, but then blogs aren't vlogs, right? So I don't know. I guess I'll go blogs and vlogs, sue me, whatever. Anyway, we want to keep adding that. We want to give you the full immersive experience. If you're really enjoying Unscripted and being along for the ride and seeing it grow, then this is the perfect time to be watching. So thanks so much to everybody for all your support. We just we couldn't have come this far without you. Really, really appreciate it. So all the gratitude in the world that we can possibly express for you, to you. Thank you so much. So anyway, I think that's it for now. Let's I'll be at Mike's in a few minutes, and let's do this. Episode 200. Can't wait.